Hello, all, and welcome back. Um, Anyone that's been using the Greer Buyzone uh, indicator that I created, I have made some updates that I think you might like. So let's go ahead and turn it on. So here's the Greer Buyzone. Let's just display it. And as you can see, there's been quite a few things that I've added. Um, the first thing is I cleaned up, turned off the vertical lines automatically. So if I show the vertical lines, you can see they pop up here. But I've noticed that on some stocks, you'll have a lot of vertical lines, and for some reason, TradingView will draw them horizontally for some weird reason. So I turn it off now by default. That's part of the default. But if you want to still, if you still like them, you can turn that back on if you so choose. But now that I've added a couple additional things, I think that you don't need those anymore because the box itself actually draws the visual indicator that you need. And I want to talk about that in just a second. But before I go into that, the second thing that I fixed was the text size. I gave you the capability to change it, so you can change it from normal to huge if you want it to really pop out, or you can make it really tiny. But I have set this. This is the normal size settings. You can see. Also, if you don't like the text, you just want to get rid of it, you can just turn it off or turn it back on. And then lastly, I moved the BuyZone Begin to go below the candle. It used to be above it, and it used to get in the way a lot of the times. So I moved it down to make it a little bit easier to read. The other thing, the big change is this BuyZone box. So let me turn off the text here for a second. That's this box right here. Turn it on, turn it off. Now this box here is actually the highest price for 233 days is where it draws at the top, and the lowest price for the last 233 days, because that's the time indicated at 233, the magical Fibonacci number that I use. And that's what draws the box. So if you go back here to this, you'll see the box kind of morphs a little bit because at this point in time, the high actually dropped down to this value over 233 days, and the low actually dropped down even lower for the last. These are actually the lowest for those 233 days. So what's interesting about this, also this buy zone start and beginning, is you can see that when the BuyZone box started, it's when the candle is the lowest it's been in 233 days. And usually that's a really good entry point. Now, what I recommend, not financial advice, of course, but what I recommend is that when your BuyZone does hit, you know it's a good time to start accumulating the stock. Now, you can dollar cost average it, you can do a lump sum at the beginning. It's up to you. But what's cool about this red and green zone is that you can see within the buy zone when it's a really good time to start to accumulate the stock. And usually you want to start to accumulate in this red zone. Now you can still buy it in the green zone. There's nothing wrong with that. But to get the ultimate price, be more precise, you want to start to buy when it's going really down here in this red zone section. So the last thing that I added was alerts. So if you want to, let's say you have a whole bunch of stocks that you're following, you have your on your watch list, and you go through each one, and you're like, well, when does it enter into the buy zone? As you can see, a lot of these haven't entered in. Some of them have. Some of them are still in the buy zone. But let's say you wanted to be alerted. All you got to do is you go to alert and you change you select Greer Buyzone, and you say when the Greer buy zone condition hits, and you can and then you just say create, and this will alert you when the Greer buy zone gets starts or ends. Um, and I think you could pick any of these, highest, lowest, or midpoint. It doesn't really matter. In the script itself, you'll see, I can show you here, that when the buy zone starts, it will send an alert, BuyZone Begins. And that alert will show up over here, and then it'll show up in the log. So here's an example of BuyZone Ends. This one of these stocks that I'm following said that the buy zone ends. So I don't have to go through each individual stock, and I could just be alerted when a buy zone begins that maybe I want to start purchasing, accumulating that stock over time for my long-term investment strategy. So with that, I'm going to turn back on defaults. That is the update to the Greer Buyzone Indicator. And if you found this valuable, please feel free to reach out to me on TradingView or send something in the comments. I'll also upload this to YouTube and to X. Thank you and have a wonderful day.